Hey, this is Tracy Lewis with Stuffin' Things with part 2 of my Easter cards. Today's cards, there are going to be 4 of them. 3 of them are using strips from DSP that is going to be retiring at the end of the month. And so whenever a new catalog comes out, I generally pull out all of the products that are retiring and figure out ways to use them just one last time. So the 3 papers today are Simply Elegant, You're a Peach, and Hand Penned. And you can already see little remnants of my strips. The previous strip cards that I've done are typically strips cut in either like triangles. I've done long skinny triangles. A set of cards I've done just strips on the diagonal. I've done strips horizontal, and I've done varied sizes of strips through the middle, but today we're doing torn strips. So I will start with the first one that I did. We did have an inspiration pin. I will try to find it. This was very loosely designed to that particular pin. We knew that we wanted to use the DSP, and that we always, Libby and I, toward the end of a catalog, like to grab their DSP and look through it and see which ones we haven't used enough. This peach DSP I've only used once or twice. It was a split share, so it's not like I basically had one sheet of each design. So this one I cut, the top strip was cut thinnest, and then as I went down, you'll see I did it kind of in a ladder. I did them offset, so they weren't torn across, they were torn crisscross from each other. You will see that I kept, in this case, I used only, green, blue, orange lines, orange dots, and then one orange flower that had green in it as well. So this one, they were pretty fat. I would say that they were maybe 1.5 inches to 1.75 inches. And then again, when I laid it all out, I started out on white. I decided I wanted to add more color, so I then ended up popping it up on a mat. So the whole thing was together, and I trimmed it down to make it have a nice double mat with the white, the balmy blue, and then the strips. So how I attach them is I start at the bottom, and I added my adhesive along the bottom of the tear, and then I laid it down, and then adhesive on the bottom of the tear, then laid it down and worked my way up from the bottom. I don't know if that's backwards, but that's just how I do it. You've already seen my coloring technique for this cute duckling. I used the full blender. I should talk about the full blender. So this full blender that I talked about for coloring, I looked online, and I don't actually see this as an item you can buy by yourself. You can buy it on Dick Blick with a pencil version of the blender. So it has the wood, and this material is the base, and it might be a little bit different material mix, but this one full blender doesn't look like you can buy it all by itself, though I did actually find the pencil blender version, which means you don't have as much material to use because the wood doesn't get used. So that's why I preferred, when I was buying these, this is probably a few years old now, I preferred the full blender because I want to use the entire thing. I don't want to bother with the wood if I can help it. So anyhow, there is the pencil version that I found on Amazon, and I've got that up as a link, and on the first video, and I will link it to this video as well. And that is what made this guy a little bit brighter in color than using the white for burnishing at the end. So I went ahead and kept it pretty simple. I did use the same matte dots and the same blue gem dots together on this. I think that it's totally fine. The people that I will be giving this to will love. The more bling, the better. And then this is a retiring trim from A Season for Everything. It's 3 trims, and one of them is this doubled up baker's twine with white wrapped in silver, and you can take it all apart. You can use just the silver, just the white, or just the Misty Moonlight. So it's definitely, if it's still available, a good idea to get it. And I went ahead and did the Happy Easter, my friend. This fishtail is indeed a vellum fishtail, and then cut the 3 words out separately using the very juicy Paper Pumpkin kit version of the Misty Moonlight, which is really juicy. And here's the inside. I kept this one, I believe, pretty simple. I just put some specks, and I made a happy little duckling walking along for the matching envelope. So the second one I worked on is hand penned. I will say that this hand penned, I had great ideas of what I was going to do with it, and I believe this is the only card I made with it. Again, it was a share with Libby. I was at her house last summer, and while I was there, I got to quote-unquote shop through her supplies, and part of it was asking if she was willing to give up one sheet of some of her DSPs that she'd got, and she was willing to share this with me, and I actually really like it. I am sad now that it's going away and I won't have the opportunity to use it. So this time, because I kept the colors pretty minimal, it was just the lighter green, the darker green, yellow, and oh, there's peach in there. So I guess there are 5 colors. It is horizontal. I cut the strips thinner. I cut them at maybe 1.5 to give me enough room to cut the strips. I cut them horizontal, but kept them stacked pretty narrow, and then left the top one fatter in this case. I then did a double bow. This double bow is the coordinating color with the bunny, and it is the Essentials twine pack. I also, in this case, used just the matte decorative dots and the butterflies, which I really like, the brass butterflies. They are very cute. The inside of this one has the chick, a little bit of grass. The grass is actually part of the Easter Friend stamp set that comes with the chick, the duckling, and the bunny. And then the envelope has the chick, some grass, and the splatters come from the, I have to turn around and look, Quiet Meadow. And Quiet Meadow is retiring. All right, so the third one actually ends up being one of my favorites. It uses the fancy Simply Elegant. I was not sure if it was going to work for me, so I started using the non-foil sides. Then I ended up seeing Libby did a sample of somewhat like this using the silver webbing, so I thought I'm going to put the silver webbing on. Well, once I put the silver webbing on, I decided to pop out a few sheets and go ahead and go with gold, silver and gold, and then the copper, silver, and gold. Then I pulled out the Simply Elegant gold and did a small bow and cut the smallest flower that I could out of the copper, and on it I put a teeny tiny butterfly. So in this case, he was colored. You can see there's quite a few colors with him. You can see a little, if you look closely at it, you see some blue, you see some Cajun craze, some early espresso. I see some light tan in there, a very light, some gray. So I did pink on his nose like I've done before, and pink around the eyes as well. And then I hid his hands because he's holding a flower for his or her friend. And then I just used gold and silver metallic dots, which are retiring. This smoky slate is retiring as well. This is a really nice shimmer ribbon that you can color into a darker color, which I really like. The Simply Elegant gold is not retiring. And then I cut out the text in a closer kind of whimsical way. And the inside of this one is the little chick. Here's the little chick again for this one. And then the fourth one is different. It is, I think I might have done this one first. So this one is the hand-penned other side of the DSP using hand-penned die-cut flowers and colored. It's a nice, thick, chunky, I tore and distressed the yellow. This is in So Saffron with the hive embossing folder. I even crumpled the paper up and uncrumpled it. The Happy Easter actually is set with 3 dimensionals to make it very thick and have it have a wavy 3D look. Again, I used the smoky slate trim. I used on the paper pumpkin kit, you get these really nice white AB Aurora Borealis iridescent rhinestones, so I used those on the flowers, and then I added black dots as well from the matte black dots. And those, no, this is from the basic dots that comes in white, gray, off-white, or very vanilla, and black, and this is retiring. Then the little bee, I snuck him off of the Honeybee Home and die cut him, and then I colored him in and gave his wings some Wink of Stella. So this was really fun and is one of my favorite type of cards to do. The text is from Quiet Meadow. I have vellum, and then this really fat, a little bit creamy, kind of fuzzy trim actually was a free gift for an event I attended sponsored by Stampin' Up, and I actually took the basic gray and I ran the basic gray around the edges of the paper and around the edges of the trim, and then tore some extra vellum, just a strip of it, to just add more strength to the Happy Easter and make sure the Happy Easter was visible because the background is so very busy. Then I added white acrylic paint dots as well as the dots from the Quiet Meadow splatter stamp on the Happy Easter. The Happy Easter actually was already cut, was in my paper pumpkin kit pile, so I used it, and it ends up, it was probably crumb cake, but it goes very well with this smoky slate, or gray granite I mean. So it was close enough that I decided to keep it, and I even edged it in the basic gray and roughed it up and did a bunch of stuff. So this was a very fun card to do. And at the end I will have a showcase of these 4 cards for you to peruse at your leisure, and I owe you the retiring list, which I will get posted. The retiring list is products available until supplies run out, or when the new catalog launches, which is on May 3rd. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns about the cards, about the retiring or the new catalog, please feel free to leave the notes in the comments on this video or over on my blog. I will have a part 3. I am not done. That is 8 cards. I need at least 12, and I wouldn't mind doing a few more. My goal, Hub asked me, when are you going to mail these? It is for 6 today, and I think I'm going to try to mail them. Libby thinks I would be fine mailing them by as late as Saturday. This is Wednesday. But I might try to mail them a little bit sooner. They do have to get, most of mine go to Washington State. She mails from North Carolina to Washington State, and her fastest time, she thinks, is when she mails it on a Saturday. For some reason, they get on a plane that Saturday, and so it's almost like she gains a day or two when she mails them on that day. So we'll see when I get these all done. So I owe at least one more episode finishing off all of my Easter cards. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe, and look for the indicator when the next version of this comes out, which will probably be the final installment. And as always, thanks for watching.